like to call to order the St. Clair Board of Aldermen meeting for June 16th, 2025. May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Here.
Alderman Miller. Here. Administrator Wilson.
Here.
Mayor Nolan.
Here.
Attorney Boss Saxon. Alderman Zane.
Here.
Alderman Schultz.
Here.
Could you please rise? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first we have the consent agenda, which consists of the council report, the Board of Aldermen meetings, minutes from June 2nd, 2025 meeting, and liquor license renewals.
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. I'll second.
May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Zane.
Aye.
Alderman Schultz.
Aye.
Okay. New business, we have the Franklin County Transportation Committee grant. Administrator Wilkie.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. You guys may remember, you ladies may remember that earlier this year you approved for us to do a transportation assessment for the city. We are about 60% done with that assessment right now. And Jason, a few weeks back, had come to me with a grant opportunity that we think might fund the first phase of that project next year. The first piece that we're looking at, we're calling the Fernando Group, and it includes Nashville, Kinney, Fernando, Virginia, and Alley. And we're not asking the board to approve anything for that particular construction project right now. What we're asking you ladies to do is support us while we try to get a grant to pay for about half of the cost of that project. That project is estimated to cost about $371,000. And so if we could go ahead and get this resolution passed today, then when we get to budget and you guys do approve this project, I can budget for that grant money to be included. So with that, I would be more than happy to answer any questions, but I do recommend approval. And thanks to Jason for finding this grant. I appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-05 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the boundary line adjustment, minor subdivision. Administrator Wilkie.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I'm going to turn this over to Craig, our building inspector. He's going to explain this one to you. This has already passed through the planning and zoning committee.
Good evening. You have before you tonight a request for a boundary line change, minor subdivision, address 905 Virginia Mines Road, True North REI LLC, Eric Anderson is requesting this boundary line change. We do have a plat on the table. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Anderson if you guys have any questions for him. I will tell you, it did go through planning and zoning. They do recommend approval. All requirements have been met. All setbacks have been met. It is properly zoned for the 3 lots with 3 additional houses.
Do any of the aldermen have any questions for the business owner, property owner? All right.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce bill number 2025-23 for first and second reading by title only.
And ordinance approving the boundary line adjustment, minor subdivision, to form part of the south half of the northwest quarter of section 36, township 42 north, range 1, west of the 5th PM in the city of St. Clair, Franklin County, Missouri. Second reading. An ordinance ordinance approving the boundary line adjustment, minor subdivision, to form part of the south half of the northwest quarter of section 36, township 42 north, range 1, west of the 5th PM, in the city of St. Clair, Franklin County, Missouri.
I move to approve bill number 2025-23 as read.
I'll second.
May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Sidney.
Aye.
Alderman Shelton.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bill number 2025-23 becomes ordinance number 2218. All right, next we have the aquatics by landscape structures for the splash pad. And that's Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I'm going to talk about this one in conjunction with the following as well, because they kind of both go together. And I have had several questions from multiple aldermen today, so I'm going to try and explain this as best I can. A lot of this was in the email that I had sent last week, just so we didn't blindside you guys with this. But as we said during the budget process, my goal was to have opened the splash pad this summer. But as I moved through this process, it became more and more realistic that just was not going to happen this year, just because of what needed to be done there, and because you kind of have to get on these people's radar ahead of time in order to get that done. So I decided to go out and look at the cooperative bid process, and that's what we're doing here with aquatics, is we're using a cooperative bid agreement. And just so you understand what that means that some other city somewhere else bid this out, and we're just piggybacking off of that bid. It's done through Sourcewell, which we are already a group of and we have used before. So that is the first part. So we budgeted $250,000 for this project in 2025. The total cost of the actual equipment is $224, a little over $224,000. I think it's $224,098, I believe. 032. Sorry, thank you. That gives us all of the parts and pieces we need, and it gives us the engineering plans for that equipment. Stacy, will you do me a favor? I forgot to bring it in here, but will you go and get the billboard that has the 12 pieces on it real quick? Thank you, Stacy. I'm going to show you guys a picture of what we're going to get. The other piece of this is the engineering. That is, I think, the piece that some people have questioned. So I want to make it clear. We'll get engineered drawings from the actual equipment provider. But that equipment provider does not know where our water and sewer lines are. They don't know what the terrain that we have at the park is. So there's a small amount of engineering needed to connect the dots. In addition to that, we are asking the engineers to manage the project for us and do all the inspections. One of the problems that I think we have here is that we're not having this stuff professionally inspected. And if we want it to last for the next 20 years, we need to make sure that it is done right before we bury all of this stuff in the ground, and done according to what the engineers who are experts in this say that it needs to happen. So there is, the second part of this is a $19,800 contract with Cochran Engineering to oversee the project for you. Stacy's bringing it in right now, and we're going to put this on Facebook, assuming that the board approves this tonight. But this is what your new splash pad is going to look like when it is all done. It will have 12 new features, and all of the plumbing is going to be redone and properly cared for and maintained moving forward in the future. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I do recommend approval of both of these. Ask them now.
Is there a warranty?
Of course there's a warranty. There's a 3-year warranty on the equipment, and there will be a 1-year warranty on the construction.
Okay, and then how much is it going to cost to maintain it each year?
I think I put that in the email, and I'm estimating that we will need to invest anywhere between $5,000 to $12,000 a year to year over year to maintain this. This includes purchasing chemicals needed, this includes maintenance, and sometimes replacement of nozzles, replacement of valves, those kind of things. Good questions.
Winterize.
Absolutely.
Is it gonna be open like that, or is it gonna be a fence around it?
No. The exterior will look like our park,
Okay.
Connie, but that is just what the floor will look like with the features and everything. So, and this is much more than what we had before.
It is. Right.
So, and I know we've gotten some bad reports on Facebook, and I'm sorry about that. But I want to give the public something that's going to last, that's going to provide them with years of fun for our kids in this community. And I think this is what we need. So, assuming this is approved tonight, we will bid out the construction piece of this, which I estimate to be about $120,000, which will be budgeted in 2026. Any other questions?
It's going to have new concrete pour, correct? Like, because they're reworking some of the valves and such.
There will have to be new concrete poured. There may be some that we keep if we feel like it's in good shape. There may be some that we keep and then target for replacement at a later date. But yes, there will have to be a lot of new concrete poured just because of the new configuration.
And will they be able to leave the post for the shade structures that are there, or will they be able to remove them and then reuse them after they're done?
I don't know whether they'll remove them or not, but they stay and they are ours, and I'm already pricing out new canopies, the budget for next year as well for those structures, because they're faded.
Yeah.
They probably should be winterized every year instead of left up anyway. So moving forward, we'll make sure that that's taken care of as well.
And then the other part that you said that would go out for bid and you thought would come in, I think you said around 100,000. Is that in addition, or is that already included in this?
That's separate. That's separate.
Mhm.
So it's right here. Piece, I apologize. But yeah, it is separate.
But then,
That's the construction piece, that'll be bid out, and whether it be a local contractor or a regional contractor, we will seek bids for that over the winter.
and that'll be in the 2026 budget, correct, to keep us in
Yes,
our
ma'am.
budget for 25?
There is an item that says additional fees may apply for products to be powder coated. Are we going to do that?
No,
Okay.
I'd like to introduce bill number 2025-24 for first and second reading by title only.
An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Aquatics by Landscape Structures to purchase new equipment for the Evergreen Park splash pad not to exceed $224,032. Second reading. An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Aquatics by Landscape Structures to purchase new equipment for the Evergreen Park splash pad not to exceed $224,032.
I move to approve bill number 2025-24 as read.
I'll second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Bowen.
Aye.
Alderman Seeley.
Aye.
Alderman Shelton.
Aye.
Okay, bill number 2025-24 becomes ordinance number 2219. Then next is the Cochran Engineering Services for the splash pad, which Administrator Wilkie has talked about. And are there any other questions for the administrator on this?
I'd like to introduce bill number 2025-25 for first and second reading by title only.
First reading, an ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Cochran Engineering for engineering services related to the splash pad at Evergreen Park for an amount not to exceed $19,400. Second reading, ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Cochran Engineering for engineering services related to the splash pad at Evergreen Park for an amount not to exceed $19,400.
Make a motion to accept Bill 2025-25 as read.
A second.
May I roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Alderman Shelton.
Aye.
Carries. Bill number 2025-25 becomes ordinance number 2220. All right, next we have the municipal ordinance transfer to the Missouri Associate Court. Administrator Welty.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I do promise the board I did not plan this way, to have these two big items all at the same time. It's just more of a timing thing, the way it happened. As you all know, we lost our court clerk several weeks ago, and when that happened, I told you all that I felt like it was a good time that we research this and decide whether or not it was the best thing for our city moving forward. So I sent out a lengthy email that I'm sure you guys all read word for word a week or so ago, and I put most of that email in my agenda notes in the packet for you. I'm not going to go through that all again up on the dais for you. I'm going to leave you with the three big points as far as I see them as it pertains to this, and then if any of you have any questions, I can answer any of them. So the three big points are, number one, the savings to our city. When I add up all of the expenses and the revenue, and I take into account that we will lose some revenue, because the associate court does their collection differently. They use a collection agency. Collection agencies always get a cut. And so it's likely that we will make less revenue, less court fine revenue than we would through our own municipal court. But when you add that together with all the expense, it's still around $120,000 a year savings. And I think that money can be much better spent to help our citizens, whether it be in parks or streets or whatever. So I think there's a lot better ways we can spend that money. That's the first of my 3 points. The second is code enforcement. It's my understanding that when this was discussed in the past, the board was told that if we did this, we couldn't do code enforcement anymore. So one of the things that I did was I went out and researched this. I talked to other cities that have done this. I talked to other prosecuting attorneys that have done this. I talked to our own prosecuting attorneys. I talked to our judge. I talked to the associate court clerk. And every single one of them, along with OSCA, who is the state of Missouri, I don't know what OSCA stands for, but they are basically Missouri state courts. They handle all of the courts. All of them told me that this is simply not true. Yes, you will no longer be able to do code enforcement through your municipal court because we will no longer have municipal court anymore. But if we need to do code enforcement, it just goes to state court. And after talking with Washington and many other cities and asking them how that process goes, they tell me that it is not much different than the process that we have now. So if we need to do code enforcement, then Craig and Bruce will still be able to do that. Now, I will tell you that we haven't had a code enforcement case go to court since 2023, I'm sorry. So what we're doing is we're working with citizens and trying to avoid taking those cases to court in the first place. But if we do need to take those cases to court, we will. Same with business licenses, if we have issues with business licenses. There's nothing that we are doing now that we won't be able to do from a court standpoint once we turn it over. So last but not least, how is this going to affect our city? How does the process work? Well, it's a long process. It's going to take about 6 months. Eventually what will happen is Mark and the police force will have to order new tickets. And those tickets will say that the person has to appear in associate court on behalf of the city of St. Clair instead of municipal court on behalf of the city of St. Clair. And if we have to do something in state court, then those tickets will say state court instead of municipal court. Kurt would now go to Union on our behalf rather than coming here on our behalf. Their court is during the day rather than in the evening. So those are really the only major effects that we will have on our city from the standpoint of just the police officer's normal everyday process and the process of the court. And with that and all of the details that I put in those emails, I can't in good conscience tell you that this is not a good idea. This is what we should be doing. This is what Senate Bill 5 tried to do, and slowly every city across our state is doing it. So we'll be the last one, just so you know, in Franklin County that is not. This will be the last one to turn over in Franklin County. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. I do recommend approval. And the second one, just so you understand, the second one is very simple. The county and the state charge 15 for court costs. We charge 12. Before we turn over, we have to match what the state charges. And those court costs will no longer come to us. That was factored into my calculations. They go to either the county or the state, depending upon where the charges are. Mark, did I miss anything as far as you can tell?
No, I think you talked about ordering tickets. I don't think we have to order anything. I think it's just a switch on the computer. It's not, they're not hard copy tickets anymore. It's just the computer. And I think they just have to change a few.
You don't have hard copy tickets anymore?
No, I think Lieutenant Sykes found a book not too long ago, but there was a lot of dust
Well,
on
that
it.
just goes to show you that I haven't been pulled over in years.
Yeah, right. So I think it's just about switching a few words, and that's it. But,
Any other questions?
I would like to introduce bill number 2025-26 for first and second reading by title only.
An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing that violations of municipal ordinances of St. Clair, Missouri be heard and determined by the Franklin County, Missouri Associate Circuit Court. Second reading. An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing that violations of municipal ordinances of St. Clair, Missouri be heard and determined by the Franklin County, Missouri Associate Circuit Court.
I move to approve bill number 2025-26 as read.
I'll second.
May I roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Dorr.
Aye.
Alderman Sanders.
Aye.
Alderman Shelton.
Aye.
Carries. Bill number 2025-26 becomes ordinance number 2221.
I'd like to introduce bill number 2025-27 for first and second reading by title only.
An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing that the municipal court of the city of St. Clair, Missouri be transferred to the Franklin County Associate Division. Second reading. An ordinance for the city of St. Clair authorizing that the municipal court of the city of St. Clair, Missouri be transferred to the Franklin County Associate Division.
And I move to approve bill number 2025-27 as read.
I'll second.
May I roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Dorr.
Aye.
Alderman Sanders.
Aye.
Alderman Shelton.
Aye.
Carries. Bill number 2025-27 becomes ordinance number 2222. Attorney Boss is not here. No reports. Administrator Welty.
Yeah, just a couple of quick comments. First of all, you may remember that we recently applied for the Blue Shield program with our police. We were approved. We will be able to spend, we're going to know exactly how much we get in July, but we will be able to spend that money on equipment and training for our officers and hopefully save some money in this year's budget towards that or possibly next year. So that's very good news. Second of all, FEMA has declared the March 14, 15 incident where we had a tornado come through town, and we had some damage to some of our well houses, and we had a lot of overtime for police that weekend. And Jason tried to run all over the state looking for generators. All of that has been declared as reimbursable. And so Craig and Jason and I are in the process of applying for that money, and we will hopefully get, I don't know, we feel like we probably are looking at $20,000 to $30,000 in like well house roof and door repairs, just because we got beat up pretty bad. And then of course, also reimbursement for some payroll as well. So that's good news. Audit. The audit is approaching about 70% complete. And right now, I tentatively feel like we will have the audit report for you guys in August instead of December. How about that, huh? So that'll be good. Everything is going well with that. I think they're waiting on me right now. Is what I think they're waiting on. Of course, Megan is shaking her head yes. And last but not least, I do want to thank the board, the mayor and the board, for allowing me to attend the elected officials training this past week. It was very, very good training. I think that our new mayor got a lot out of it, and I know that we had a couple of aldermen that went that I think got a lot out of it as well. So I thought it was great, and I really appreciate the board letting me attend those types of trainings. So thank you very much. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Public Works report. Jason?
Nothing at this time.
Captain DeBreck?
Nothing this time, sir.
Building Department. Craig?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Park Advisory Board, Alderman Salem.
Just a reminder again, that Freedom Fest is the 28th of this month. We're moving along very nicely. I think we added another vendor today, if the dates work out. And the next meeting, which we'll use to finalize everything, will be next Tuesday.
Any board members have anything?
Administrator Welty, do you remember, or I know off the top of your head, did we only sign a one-year contract? Is this the last year of our contract with the auditor? Do we have to go back out, or do you know how many years?
No, I thought it was just a 1 year, and so I went to try and start putting together the RFP, and Kristen showed me the original contract is a 3-year contract. So we're in year 2 of a 3-year contract, so we will have her services in 2026 for 2025, and then I will have to bid that out, and we'll have to see what happens with that.
I thought it was 3 or 5 years, but I don't know. Thank you.
And for what it's worth, we've already went through this one time with her. It has been a wonderful experience. So I have nothing but good things to say about our auditor. I think she's doing a wonderful job.
Any public participation? So our next scheduled meeting, regular meeting, will be 3 weeks from today, which is Monday, July 7th at 7 p.m. The executive session, the tentative agenda, also includes a vote to close part of the meeting set to RSMO 610.021 to discuss personnel and property.
I'll make a motion to enter executive session pursuant to RSMO 610.021.
May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Salem.
Aye.
Alderman Shelton.
Aye.
Carries.
Acting like it.
My name is Eric Anderson.